Hi, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I make videos about books. Please hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow. Today, I'm doing a little bit of a different video. It's still a vlog, but I am talking about one thing in particular, which I have never done before, and that is the Aardvark book club. This is very comparable to Book of the Month in that it's the same price. They have an app and a website. I can show you what the app looks like right here. I just downloaded it today and it is super nice looking. You get one book for $17 and then you can add on for $10, so very much like Book of the Month. The only difference I see between Aardvark and Book of the Month is that Aardvark is doing lesser known books, which I actually think is cool because I would have never had these books that they gave me on my radar, and I think it's just fun that I get to read these and review these for you, and maybe some of these books will become my favorite. So this is not sponsored. I literally just emailed them and was like, hey, I have a YouTube, yep, this is YouTube. I have a YouTube channel and I was wondering if I could have a box and I would review you and the books on my channel, and they were so nice. They got back, it was a Sunday. I remember it was a Sunday. They got back to me a couple hours later. They sent me a few emails asking me what kind of books I was interested in, and that was it. They sent it to me about a week later, and I got the box today. So I uploaded a reel and a TikTok, and I'm going to show you the books that I got, and then we're gonna go into the vlog of me reading these books. And this is the video. So the first book that I got was The Night Ship by Jess Kidd. I figured I was going to get this one. They were really promoting this one. This is historical fiction. Now the thing is, I personally do not read a lot of historical fiction. However, whenever I pick up a historical fiction, I really like it. So I'm actually really excited about this. So based on real life event, an epic historical novel from the award-winning author Jess Kidd, one shipwreck, two misfits, 3 centuries apart. I'm actually, no joke, excited about this. One of my libraries has the audiobook for this, so I'm excited about this. So the difference between this and Book of the Month is that they still have the logo on the book, but it's here instead of on the spine like Book of the Month does. So I thought that was interesting. It's also not in the corner like Book of the Month takes up the whole corner, and here it's just here. So I thought that was cool. And the second book that I got, I'm really excited about. I'm also a little bit nervous because it sounds like a second chance romance, which I am not a fan of, but I'm a fan of contemporary romance, and that is what this is. And this is Twice in a Lifetime by Melissa Barron. This is a debut. It's contemporary romance. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this one. I will say I looked this up on Goodreads because I had never heard of it. It came out this year and it has 200 reviews, which is nothing. So nervous, excited, all of the above. I am going to tell you a little about this one. Isla has fled the city for small town Missouri in the wake of a painful and exhausting year. With her chronic anxiety at a fever pitch, the last thing she expects is to meet a genuine romantic prospect. And she doesn't. But she does get a text from a man who seems to think he's her husband? Obviously a wrong number, except when she points this out, the mystery texter sends back a picture of them on their wedding day. Holy shit, this sounds so good. This sounds... Wait. Okay, I'm really excited for this. I got the audiobook of this. I have a billion Libro FM credits. So I bought this on Libro FM. So these are the 2 books I am reading for this Aardvark book box experiment, I guess. I'm so excited to do this. I am like 5 weeks out on the audiobook for this on Libro. Libby. And then I have this book now on Libro. I will be starting this today. So, roll the vlog. I am 100 pages into The Night Ship by Jess Kidd. This was the Aardvark book box edition. I got sent this without being able to pick out which book I got. I just want to put that out there. This follows two timelines, 1629 and 1989, 300 years apart. I am a little confused about what's happening. I know in 1629, they're literally on a ship. They are going somewhere. I know at one point the main character said that they had been at sea for 20 days and something has happened with rats eating people's toes, and that's it. In 1989, we're following this little boy who is a very manly audiobook voice for this 9-year-old boy that's tripping me up. I keep thinking that he's 30 years old and then something will happen. They'll be like, oh, 9-year-old Gil. And my brain is like, okay. Not the best audiobook I've ever read or listened to, but yeah. So in 1989, Gil has moved to this island after the death of his mother, and basically he is being told superstitions of this like ghost that lives on the island from a shipwreck. So I know that this night ship wrecks on this island that Gil lives in 300 years later, but I guess at some point I'm going to find out how this boat crashes on this island and what happens on the island, and then in 1989 if there are actually ghosts on the island. This is based on an actual true story of a boat crash on an island in Australia. So that's all I know. I am not a historical fiction girly. It's not like I'm not liking it. This wouldn't have been my first choice to pick, but I got this box to try out for Aardvark, so we're doing it. I will say the writing is really good. Like I said, the audiobook isn't my favorite, and that's because Gil is narrated by a 30-ish-year-old and he is 9. So yeah, so we'll see how this goes. It is fairly short. It's only a 10-hour audiobook. It's like 380 pages, so not bad. So that's what I know so far, 100 pages in. I am 71% into the night ship. I'm definitely liking it a lot more than I was liking it yesterday. It felt like it took me a really long time to get into the story yesterday, but today I read 40% and it flew by. So I will say that this has a lot of triggers that I was absolutely not anticipating. In 1628, there is a lot of death on the ship, and there is also sexual assault with the crew members and the people on the ship. And then in 1989, Gil is 9 years old and he may or may not be queer. He doesn't know. But there is a slur that is used so many times to describe him that I was not ready for. Also, there is animal abuse in 1989. So there's just like a lot going on. Gil is really interested in the shipwreck, but he believes in ghosts and everything, but I have still not gotten to the shipwreck. I have 30% left of the book and they're still at sea. So basically they're going from the Netherlands to Indonesia and they get the ship wrecks somewhere near Australia. So that is all I know. I'm liking this way more than I thought I was, considering it is historical fiction. So that's good. I finished The Night Ship by Jess Kidd. This was fine. In my opinion, I feel like this should have just focused on 1629 and that the perspective of 1989 was unnecessary and honestly a little confusing. Like, I don't know. I personally don't know what 1989 really did for this story. In my opinion, nothing. It just made it more confusing. So I actually liked 1629 way more. And I am what I consider not a historical fiction girly, but like that was way more interesting than the story with Gil in 1989. So I'm going to give The Night Ship 3 stars. I'm glad that I went out of my comfort zone with this book. And this is definitely not a book that I would have necessarily heard of or picked up without Aardvark. And 3 stars isn't bad in my opinion. It's just very average. So I will not be keeping this one, but like I'm not upset that I read it. I just don't think the way the story was interwoven, I don't even think it was interwoven, worked, and I would have preferred to just read from 1629. So 3 stars for The Night Ship. Glad I went out of my comfort zone. The end. I know in the beginning of this video, I did read the synopsis of this book, which for you was a couple minutes ago, but for me was a couple weeks ago. So I just want to reread it really fast. It's on the back, sorry. Isla has fled the city for small-town Missouri in the wake of a painful and exhausting year. With the chronic anxiety at a fever pitch, the last thing she expects is to meet a genuine romantic prospect. And she doesn't. But she does get a text from a man who seems to think he's her husband. Obviously a wrong number, except when she points this out, the mystery sender sends back a picture. One of them on their wedding day. So, nowhere in here, hold on, maybe I saw it. Ewan is texting back through time to save her from a fate he is unwilling to share, and all she can do to prevent that fate is to learn to be happy now in the body she has with the mind she has. In the first 100 pages, we learn that Isla in the future commits suicide, which I thought with this cover, this was going to be like a happy romance and that she's just in like this time loop trying to get back to her husband. But the reason she's in this time loop is because in the future with her husband, like she has a husband, at some point she commits suicide and he just starts like texting her number, and in this time loop she gets the text and now he's like, hey, by the way, you killed yourself. Let's try to prevent this. I think if I would have known that, this would have been a skip for me, because this already is reminding me of The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, which I did not like. There were several scenes of self-harm in that book that I felt like I was unprepared for and no one ever talked about. And there was also another instance of talking about self-harm in this book that I was, once again, not prepared for. The thing is, there are trigger warnings in the front of this book, but like I did not go into this book knowing that there were trigger warnings. I am 100 pages in. I feel like I'm not hating it. I was just mentally unprepared for what this book was about. Also, Isla is severely depressed. She's so severely depressed, and I have been there. But never when I was depressed did I ever like hate my appearance. Like the way she talks about how she looks is so bizarre to me. I don't know. Like when I was depressed, I just wanted to die because I didn't want to get out of bed and like be a person. But her depression and anxiety manifests a lot in the way she looks, which I personally have never experienced or heard of. So that's really something I'm trying to get used to. Also, she has just like met Ewan from text messages, and they're calling each other like pet names and saying that, like, obviously Ewan loves Isla because he knows her, but like Isla doesn't know Ewan in this timeline and is saying that she loves him. I don't know if I'm liking this. I don't think I'm liking this now that I'm here. So I'm going to give this, I'm done reading for the day. It is just mentally harrowing. So I'm going to try this again tomorrow. I only have 2 hours left in the audiobook at my pace. So like, we'll see how it goes, but this could be a DNF. Would you guess from this cover that this was going to be so depressing? Because I didn't. I finished Twice in a Lifetime by Melissa Barron. I'm very conflicted about what to give this, like how many stars to give this, because I don't think it was a bad book. I think this cover is misleading, and I was not prepared to read such a heavy and sad story. Like, it does not get any happier, just so we all know. The time loop does continue, and other things start to happen, and it's based off of one event that like happens no matter what. I have been sitting on this rating for like 20 minutes, and that's not usually how I do it. I think I'm gonna give this 3 stars. So I don't think that it's bad. I just don't think that this is the kind of story that I wanted to read. I thought that this was going to be like a rom-com, and it absolutely is not. And the thing that I hated most about this is how the author described her main character, like her looks. Like, I absolutely hated it. I hated it so much. But like, the story wasn't all bad, so I'm gonna give this 3 stars. So yeah, this is the Aardvark book box. I gave both of these books 3 stars. Now, I will say that these books I did not get to choose. Hold on. I bought myself an Aardvark book box for January, and I got to choose my books. And I chose Desert Creatures and All the Dark Places. So like, I was interested enough in Aardvark that I paid for it myself after I got the box for free. And I'm hoping that I like these books better because I got to choose, like, I got to pick them out. So I do recommend Aardvark book box. It does ship to Canada as well, which is amazing because I know that people from Canada want a box like book of the month. So if you're looking for a box like book of the month, this is it. Aardvark is it. So that's it. That's the review video. I think it's a good company. So thanks for watching my video. See you in my next one. Bye.
Losing time, I'm fading fast.